I don't know if this was intentional, but this episode was sponsored by BetterHelp, and considering the choice of characters, I think that is a fantastic little detail. Guts vs. Dimitri was honestly such a hype matchup for my friend group. Yeah, it was another Potato King W, but outside of that, it was one we were all hyped for. For starters, there was the first ever Fire Emblem matchup on the show, and it had Guts returning for his second episode. But did it live up to the hype? Well, let's find out. Also, I should probably point this out, but during the waiting period, I realized that Dimitri and I look very similar in terms of physical appearance. Like, we have the exact same hair and face shape. It's like looking in a JRPG mirror. The only difference is I don't have a cool-ass eye patch, so I'm not as cool as Dimitri. Anyway, I'm ready to get into some nice Nintendo family-friendly fun. Starting off with the analysis, I like it. Fair warning, for anyone watching this review before the actual episode, it's very fucked up. Like, to an absurd degree. I'm very thankful that I never show segments from the analysis, because including some of the stuff they show here would probably get me demonetized. Anyway, I really like Guts' rundown, and the editing isn't half bad either. It's definitely better than what we got in Raven vs. Phoenix. Other way around. Although the cutaway was really nothing, and I do find it weird that they put Guts at speeds faster than Dimitri, when I've heard that it's actually the other way around. But one thing I really like is when Wiz and Boomstick talk about the Berserker armor. I don't know what it is, but I just love it when they bring it up, and it's just so cool. It's probably just because I love the Berserker armor. Overall, analysis is solid. I like it a lot. My analysis is also pretty good. I like them explaining the lore of Fire Emblem Three Houses and explaining what a crest bearer is and how it's connected to Sophist. I also like them talking about how Dimitri starts off as a very kind and earnest person, even giving a dagger to that red-wearing bitch Edelgard, and how he kind of goes off the deep end by the time Fargus begins to rebel and by the time Edelgard betrays him. Never trust a woman who wears red, kids. The more you know. It will only end in pain. And you know what? Even the jokes are pretty funny. I love the fact that they kept the hosts arguing about which house in Three Houses is superior. And the Smash announcer joke saying Byla's name after Boomstick brought them up. That got a chuckle out of me. I love it so much. I play Smash a lot, and hell, Xander Mobus is in this episode, so it was pretty funny. The editing is also really good. Also, based Boomstick for wanting to pay teachers more. Yeah, I really like this analysis a lot as well. The analysis is pretty good. Alright, enough with the Toki analysis stuff. Let's get on to the fight. For starters, I gotta praise the visuals. Sure, the models do kinda clash a bit, but outside of that, I really like the way this looks. It's still not my favorite 3D fight aesthetic-wise. That still belongs to Goro vs. Machamp, but it is damn near close. And the setting of a snowy arena really helps all the blood that ends up getting spilt pop a lot more as opposed to the fight taking place in a plains or a rocky mountain setting. Anyway, we start off with the two having already met and begun fighting. Now, I'm not against this, but I do wish there was more of an explanation as to why they're fighting each other. But the baiting and shuffle is pretty cool, so I'm okay with it. There are a few moments throughout the whole animation where Guts swings his sword a bit too fast for my liking, but maybe you could just chalk that up to him having experience swinging the sword a lot, I don't know. Dimitri imbues Eredfar with Wind Sweep, which I honestly think looks fantastic. It's got this 2D hand-drawn look to it, similar to Broly's key effects in Hulk vs. Broly, and I really like that look for it. It also kind of reminds me of how Smash Ultimate does its visual effects, so if that's a reference, it's pretty cool as well. Anyway, he sends Guts flying backwards, so Guts retaliates by spamming his neutral special. Unfortunately for him, however, Dimitri manages to parry all the arrows and summons lightning. Now, I kind of have a problem with this scene. It's just a nitpick, but it's a very noticeable nitpick. Bleh. Sorry. When Guts is sent flying backwards, he puts Dragon Slayer right next to him. But after Dimitri uses lightning, Dragon Slayer somehow teleports ahead of him. Again, it's just a minor nitpick, but it's very noticeable for me. Moving on, Guts decides he wants to play Catch the Knife with Dimitri, and he tosses a knife at him. But Dimitri sucks at catching, so he gets stabbed in the chest. Guts then smacks Dimitri in the face with the sharp edge of his sword. How that works I'll never understand. And he immediately slashes Dimitri in the back. Okay, I am 90% sure Dimitri would be paralyzed from the waist down after a slash like that. Anyway, moving on. Dimitri doesn't like this, so in return he impales Guts with a lance to a tree. Very Michael Myers there, Dimitri. Dimitri gives a little speech about how the dead must get a #1 victory royale or some shit, and in response Guts just headbutts him in the face. I find that absolutely hilarious. I don't know why, it's just funny. The two have a brief clash, and Dimitri uses Azure Lightning to stun Guts as he immediately frozen lances his ass. But Guts uses a combination of his spiky ball bombs as well as his literal hand cannon to blast Dimitri's ass to Kingdom Come. This next scene is by far my favorite in the episode. Dimitri hears the voices of his loved ones while he's surrounded by the resulting flames of that huge-ass explosion he just tanked, as Guts starts hearing the voice of the Beast of Darkness as he starts gnawing away at Guts' mind. The two share the "I'll kill them all" line as Guts activates the Berserker armor. And oh my god, the sound design when Guts' arm gets put back into place is so fucking crunchy. It really makes me feel like my arm is being moved, and it's painful as fuck. And it's followed up by a raw as hell roar from Berserker Guts. I really wish the same impact could have been done for Dimitri going into his awakened mode, but if that meant spending less time on Berserker Guts' transformation, it probably wouldn't have been worth it. The following fight is really cool as well. The two have these really nice colored auras around them, red for Guts and blue for Dimitri, and it's done in this awesome tracking shot. Sure, the movement's a tad bit too fast for my liking, but who the hell cares? This is raw as hell. I fucking love how even as Berserker Guts, he still goes for Dimitri's face. This time opting to punch it instead of headbutting it. And even when Dimitri breaks his helmet, we still get to see how animalistic Guts is in this state as he roars like a full-on demon. Dimitri then uses Atrocity to try and finish off Guts, but even then it still doesn't work. Guts just gets back up, breaks Eredfar's handle, and then he dies peacefully. Bro really broke his opponent's weapon and then dipped. Okay, jokes aside, I really like this ending. Even when Guts died and the demons came to take his soul, that's what I'm assuming is what happened at least, Dimitri shows off his kindness by defending Guts and facing the demons himself. I really like that ending. Oh, sure, it wasn't a super brutal kill, but it didn't need to be. At the end of the day, we got to see a lot of these characters being broken and mentally distraught, and so it was nice to see Dimitri show his kindness by defending Guts' soul. And in a weird way, I think this might be a somewhat happy ending for Guts. I'm sure he's kind of dead and all, but now he can just stop fighting for his life 24/7. In a way, Dimitri gave him peace. That's how I interpret it, at least. Moving on to the post-analysis, I think it's pretty good. Explaining how while Dimitri is slower than Guts, he still had ways to close the gap with things like seal movement, or how Dimitri's strength and wider variety of weapons allowed him to wear Guts down. It's pretty solid stuff. I also like how they went about calculating Dimitri's power output by using the Javelins of Light and all that other wishy-washy stuff. It's pretty much all I have to say on the end of post-analysis, to be honest. It's good. Overall, I really liked this episode. The analyses were fun, and I was really invested in both of them. The animation was godlike, and the post-analysis was also good. And that's not even mentioning the other factors like the track or the voice acting. God's Hand was an amazing track. I honestly think it topped Fireborn as my favorite track this season. Brandon and Logan Adams killed it. What a surprise. The guys who collabed to make Hedge of Tomorrow killed it. The voice acting was also stellar as well. Ya boy Xander Mobus returned to the show after his role as Agumon in Pokemon vs. Digimon to give us a fantastic portrayal of Guts. And Kevin Andrew Rivera makes his Death Battle debut as Dimitri. And I think he did amazing in this episode. I don't know why I gave them their own little introductions, but I did, so you're just going to have to deal with it. Overall, I actually don't know where to put this episode. I'm gonna say it's on par with Stitch vs. Rocket for me, and I'll give it a 9.9 out of 10. It's that good, in my opinion. The only real disappointments in this episode are the fact that it makes me realize that Smash really doesn't represent Fire Emblem that well. And the next time. Okay, look, I know Marvel vs. DC episodes are always going to happen. They're bound to happen. It's just an inevitable possibility. But why this matchup? What like Martian Manhunter versus Silver Surfer? Who asked for this? I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Jean and I like the Surfer, but both of them have better matchups that are also Marvel vs. DC. Super Skrull literally exists, people. Anyway, I'm pretty disappointed. I mean, it's just gonna be another high-tier omniversal Marvel vs. DC fight where, come to think of it, Martian Manhunter's probably gonna win because the last Marvel vs. DC fight where everyone expected one character to win didn't exactly turn out well for the Marvel character, so yeah, that's my prediction. Manhunter's gonna win. He's gonna stomp because Manhunter is based. In all seriousness, though, I honestly don't really care. That's really about it. Anyway, what do you all think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, hit the like button as well as that subscribe button. I cannot speak today. And ring the bell if you want more crappy videos from me, because all my videos are not that good, to be honest. Follow me on my socials in the description, and check out Lucariboi's review as well as our reaction to the episode itself. Both of those will also be in the description. Anyway, with that in mind, I'll see you later, Cap Nation. Bye-bye!